What is good, people? Welcome back to the Across the Pond podcast. As usual, we're joined for another episode every single Thursday. Today, we have a special guest on. We're waiting for our current guest, who is an ex-NFL running back, Leroy Hoard. We interviewed him before. Great guy, great personality. Yeah, Sean's got some questions that he wants to ask him. So what sort of thing are we thinking about today, Sean, before?
Hey, today, man, we're finna keep it real casual, bro. Just a little bit.
We already know stuff about him. We've
had an interview for you, man. I haven't checked that out. Go check that shit out. That shit was dope. Funny interview, man. Today, we're gonna just kind of see what's going on with like the recent affairs and that. Talk a bit about because you know Leroy and them man over at his station, they cover Miami sports.
Yes, so he's not just an ex-player.
Yeah, he's a radio show. So we'll ask a little bit about the Dolphins, maybe a little bit about NBA playoffs. You know,
okay, you can run that. You can run that because that is
it's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? Just some general shit, man. Just kind of what players, any standout draft players or signings, to see what teams are gonna be potential contenders or just good teams next year, man. So
the one thing I want to ask him about is rookie running backs from a guy who has played in that position.
Yeah, exactly.
Who is he most excited to see actually play and perform on the field? So I'm thinking. I mean, I don't know if you heard it, but Najee Harris apparently is one of the
he was
obviously
he's
one
top
of the most
hyped up ones. Yeah.
A lot. He's been really hyped up in practice. Apparently, he like refused to leave the facility. Yeah, they had to force him home to go. So I want to see what he thinks about some of these players. Before we actually get started and get that interview on, we're trying to get Leroy in. It's a bit difficult. We've tried like 2-3 times, but email won't work. So we'll give it a little bit of a time for him to join. But before we get into that, in today's episode, after that, we're going to be talking about Madden, which just dropped their covers today and their trailer today. We've got all of that prepared. And then also we're going to be talking about who we've got on our shirts: Xavier Howard, Stephon Gilmore, two of the best cornerbacks in the NFL, could potentially be leaving their current teams if things, don't go to plan. So we're going to be talking about them, being the fact that we're actually both fans of them and obviously both got their jerseys, both like them. So we'll get into that. But first of all, while we wait for Leroy, I just told Sean about this, but we did get our first bit of. I know Sean's gonna. Okay, we do actually have Leroy in, so we are gonna have to stop just a little bit early. But we have Leroy in, so let's invite him in. So this is Leroy Hoard, ex-NFL running back and Pro Bowl running back, and then now a talk show host. So really funny guy, really good guy, and let's get him in so we can talk to Leroy about the NFL and everything else that's going on in the world of sports.
What's up, guys?
What's good, Leroy, man? You good?
I'm good.
Hey, that's good to hear, man.
How you been?
Good. Watching a little U.S. Open.
Getting golf. Yeah.
Hating football this time of year.
Yeah, trust me, man. That shit sucks right now, man.
And part of the reason why it does is because we take all the minutia and all the nonsense that's going on now and think that what's happening now matters as far as what's going to happen during the season. Case in point, I just finished going at it for 3 days about Tua throwing 5 picks in the first minicamp practice. And I was thinking like this, when you watch a game on Sunday, right, that's after preparation and practice and off-season training and whatever. So you see the throws that these guys make, you see the routes that the receivers run, you see the blocking schemes, the running backs or whatever. How else are you going to know what you can and can't do if you don't push yourself to the limit? And so how's a quarterback going to ever know he can or can't make that throw unless he makes it or attempts to make it? And for everybody to get so caught up in minicamp, they don't even have pads on. Minicamp practice. It drives me crazy because I go back to thinking when I was doing minicamp, my rookie year was 1990. And that was kind of the changing of the guard. That's when, my rookie year, I had a guy that smoked cigarettes at halftime, right? And then my second year, Belichick took over, and there was none of that. It was more of a health thing. And then people started, big time off-season programs and getting more in shape and being more fit and stuff like that. But every minicamp, my rookie year minicamp, the last day of minicamp was an open bar and a picnic for your family, right? And I'm thinking to myself, there are people watching minicamp, and they are taking this stuff and think that it could possibly matter how good or bad a player is going to be. I never went to a minicamp where I was thinking, "Whoo, I better show out now because the season depends on it." I'm thinking, look, the way it works is like if you're a veteran, they ask you to do the OTAs, but they don't really make a big deal about it. Everybody that makes a big deal about it, it depends on what your status is on that team. If you're a young player and you're trying to prove yourself, or you're a guy who's trying to make the team, well, yeah, they want you there. But if you've been around and you know the system and all that, but what they ask you to do is either stay the week previous to minicamp or the week after minicamp, and they get an idea of who's going to do what, and they kind of coordinate it so that you get at least like 10 days to work on stuff for that off season. And that's basically how it goes. But minicamp, in some ways, like regular season camp, like regular camp when you start, that's mostly for the guys to try to impress the coaches and make the team. You putting in stuff and you practicing, but you getting ready for the season. You're not trying to make the team. And when I see, how they going after Tua, let's be clear about a couple of things. When Tua got drafted, he wasn't even going to play the first year. They were like, ooh, his first year is going to be a redshirt year. But then he played. So now, the offseason before the season last year, he wasn't doing OTAs. He wasn't doing mini camps. He was rehabbing.
Yeah.
So all the things you have to learn as a young quarterback, you learning during the game. So consequently, all of his passes were short and safe passes, because what they emphasized with him was you can't hold the ball like you hold the ball at Alabama. So he started getting rid of the ball quick, getting rid of the ball on time, but his passes were shorter. After the season was over with, he got replaced a couple of times, and I didn't have a problem with it because he's a young quarterback, and any young player, the one thing you don't want them to do is get into bad habits. And so you can fix it if you stop it, right? If you stop him from doing it, you can build on it the following week. But if you just play him and you try to fix it in games, how effective is he going to be during games if you're also trying to fix, some of these glaring mistakes? So everybody made a big deal about Tua getting replaced. And keep in mind, he wasn't even supposed to play. Now, the offseason, you may have heard Tua say, well, I really got the playbook down. I really didn't have the playbook down. And everybody flipped out. Oh, my God, Tua didn't even know the plays. That's not what that means, right? Here, you guys any good at math?
Math, right?
No.
Math
Let me see if I can explain it in simple forms. When you get to a certain part of math, you have all of these equations that you plug in numbers to get answers, right? You can know all the equations because maybe you had the cards. You studied x over y equals this, and you learned all those things, and you knew what they meant, and you could pass the test on what all these equations were to these math problems. but you didn't know how to use them. So when you got to a test and you had to know which equation to plug for which problem, that's when you failed. That happens to a lot of people in math. Well, it's the same thing with Tua. When you learn a football play and you learn what to do on a certain defense at a certain time, yeah, that's great. The coach will ask you on the sideline, you got the headphones on, you're not playing. Hey, what do you do if it's cover 2 under these circumstances? Oh, I'm going to look for the tight end. I'm going to look the safety off and throw it outside. Oh, that's all. That's great. Then you get in the game. And you're like, oh, crap. You ain't got time for all this. You ain't got time for, cover 2. Okay, I'm going to check it. You don't have time for that. That comes with time. That comes with seeing these defenses over and over again. That comes with studying the defense and knowing defensive tendencies, all which takes time. Keep in mind, nobody thought Tua was going to play. So when he was honest about it, everybody jumped on him. Didn't mean he didn't know the plays, but you can know something and not really know it. And that's kind of what he went through as a young quarterback. And so, yeah, I hate this time of year. There's football, but there's nothing good to talk about. There is nothing good to talk about. You know why? Because if somebody is great, they're going to say, well, they ain't got pads on. They just running around in tights. How can you tell if he's that good? But if he's bad, right, this is crazy.
He did those 6 touchdowns.
Yeah,
and no interceptions.
That's the thing.
The training after, so
day after
improvements. Exactly. That's the whole point about the camp.
Even still with that, like, it's training at the end of the day. So I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it.
The one thing that I did spot, it was in the news, and okay, it was training, but here we got Cam Newton, a seasoned veteran, and I don't know if you've seen this, Leroy, but there was videos of him. Granted, it was in the rain. But it was him and Matt Jones basically, throw after throw, bit of competition, and his passes looked woeful, right? And I guess
where's Cam Newton? Roddy expect?
Right, a season. Does it make a difference when the guy's a seasoned vet going into practice and being showed up by a guy wearing number 50 or 55, whatever he is on his shirt?
Wait, of course you're gonna be showed. Look, when you've played, one of the hardest things for me to realize is when I got into my 6th and 7th year and my body had been banged up and I had a bunch of carries and I was just getting healthy when the following camp started, right? And then you see these young guys right out of college running all over the place, looking fast, quick, or whatever. That don't mean they could play, right? Because guess what? Part of the reason why these clubs or these football teams sign them is because they look good without pads on. And you see him in college against lesser talent. Just because you see a guy running fast don't mean nothing. How many fast wide receivers can't catch? Right? The rules of football change when you can get your face caved in. Okay? So it's not football, and I tell the guys I do the show with, it's not football till they got to put their mouthpiece in. Because now you could be hit. Once you put your mouthpiece in, you're like, I could get hit. I could lose some teeth. And then you ever notice, guys don't look as fast. Well, that's, what? It's easy to run fast and look fast when you can't get hit. Mm-hmm. But now take a wide receiver, run across the middle of the field in mini camp. Woo, he looks fast. Jalen Waddle looked fast. He run across the middle of the field looking good. What happens the first time he run across the middle and get hit by a 210-pound safety and get his bell rung or lose a chiclet or something like that? Then what? Now the next time he run through there and he looking everywhere but for the football. That all comes into play. So then as you play the game longer and longer, it definitely is an advantage because you know how to play. It's not a matter of just playing fast. As you get older and you lose some of those skills, you become smarter at reading defenses. You become smarter at reading blocking schemes. You become smarter at studying an opponent. You become smarter at all these other things. You become more of a professional. Same thing with quarterbacks. How could a quarterback play so long? You think Tom Brady's arm is as strong as it was in 2000? No.
Yeah.
But how does he have the same amount of production? Anticipation. He knows where to go with the ball quicker than a young guy. A young guy, you look at somebody like Kyler Murray. You look at somebody like in San Diego.
Herbert. Herbert.
Yeah, Justin Herbert. Okay, you look at those guys, they're young. They hold the ball for a long time, and then they zip it when the guy's open, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what you did in college. In the pros, you got to throw a guy open. So when the guy's even with him, you figure he's going to pull away, and you throw him open. It's a different mindset, and that takes time. That takes time to learn, and it's going to be, it's going to be some mistakes. Guess what? Everybody says, oh, Tua's arm didn't look strong. It didn't like Drew Brees' arm look strong?
Yeah.
Did Drew Brees' arm look strong? Peyton Manning didn't throw a spiral his last 8 years in the NFL. Right? Like, come on. But the reason why they lose credibility with me, because they're the same guys that thought Tim Tebow was awesome. I saw him throw a pass. It went end over end. And I'm like, I can't watch this. I can't do it. Dude, you have one job in football. You don't have to be accurate, and you don't have to have a lot of zip, but you need to be able to throw it.
Yeah.
Well, Tim Tebow coming back into the NFL was a wild storyline for me. Are you seeing it back in the NFL? You seeing all these young guys do it, or is it we're calling it a quit?
I think like he still has that itch.
You still got like deep down, you've got that fire in you, right?
You still have it. Like, I always wanted, if I could play football now, I would still play, but my body said hell no. Mm-hmm. I got up one morning, it was like a week before camp, and I was still walking with a limp. I said, I'm not putting my body through this. Right? Yeah. But in the case of Tim Tebow, here's the deal. And here's the only reason why I'm mad at what he's doing. Because when he was in the league, all of the people that brought him to different teams told him, dude, you ain't going to be a quarterback, but we can use you at tight end. Why don't you try a different position? Like so many other quarterbacks that have won the Heisman have done. He said, no, I'm a quarterback. So his ass ended up out of the league. Now 10 years later, you say, okay, I want to play tight end?
Yeah, he a bit late on that.
In the league.
He a bit late on that.
But you know why? Here's the most underrated skill in football. Being able to hit and be hit and not being afraid of the consequences. I didn't like contact. I didn't like being hit. But I could deal with it. I know how to deal with it. One of the reasons why Tim Tebow didn't want to move to tight end, he knew damn well he couldn't play quarterback. He could see it. If he was keeping it real with himself, he knew. But guess what? Tim Tebow ain't never been hit. He got knocked out of a game and concussed by a linebacker from Kentucky. Man. So how do you think a linebacker going to do from the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah.
And he got to line up across from him. And everybody, and think about this. And everybody tired of hearing about Tim Tebow. If he line up at tight end, what you think is going to happen to him? So mentally, he had to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't prepared for that. You see what I mean? It's a hard thing to go from never being hit in your life to all of a sudden at the highest level of football starting to get hit. So I understand why he didn't do it. But don't come back now and all of a sudden think now, you built up some courage? In the 10 years you went and did what you were doing? I don't understand it because it's something like every person that I've met that was a non-contact person never all of a sudden became a contact person. right? You see it now when you watch basketball. There's physical guys and there's non-physical guys. That's just who they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tim Tebow's not a physical guy. So what? He got muscles. He ain't faster than nobody. He ain't stronger than nobody that he would ever have to face.
I'm saying, bro.
So,
right now, Oklahoma, man, I'll probably drop him off at this point. But now that's a good point. And like from your experience, would you say the league from when you played has gotten like I guess you could say this in a couple of sports has gotten softer to like what it is nowadays?
I won't say that because the rules have changed, and you're talking about mostly perimeter guys.
Yeah.
Right. So the wide receivers, and the hardest thing for a wide receiver to learn how to do is get away from jam coverage.
Yeah.
It's really like it's hard. There's two things that I heard that I heard every day in camp with young receivers. One is get off the ball. Don't let him jam you. And the other thing is get your head around, because they're so used to in college looking and then the ball comes. In the NFL, that ball is a 5-step drop. You plant your foot, the ball's out. And you got to get your head around and adjust to the ball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You see? And the timing of it allows quarterbacks who don't have a cannon to get it where it needs to be on time. But a lot of time, you see it all the time in camp, ball hit a guy right in the face. Because when you watch football and you see a guy get hit in the face, it's not because he can't catch. It's because the hardest thing for them to do is pick up the ball when they get their head around. And it requires practice. It's something they got to get used to. It's hard. But as far as, here's what's happened in football. Football hasn't gotten less physical. But the people who are physical are bigger. For example, you look at safeties. You got some safeties at 200, 220 pounds. We had that, but now, they're coming up. You look at linebackers. You got linebackers now where when I played, you had a linebacker was 260. He just played in a phone booth, right?
Yeah.
Now you got that same linebacker running a 4.5. Okay, when you look at outside rushers, LT was probably the greatest pass rusher ever. He was 250 pounds. Now look at Jadeveon Clowney. Now look at who's the kid from Cleveland?
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett. Look at Myles Garrett. Right. Look at somebody. When I played, we didn't have those guys. They had guys like we had Reggie White, and you had some dominant guys, but they weren't athletically gifted like the guys are today.
Yeah.
Jadeveon Clowney, ran a 4.5 when he came out of college? That's unheard of when I was coming up.
Yeah.
And so when you take every position and you add 20 pounds to it, but decrease the 40 speed by 0.2, that's the difference in football now. I won't say there's any more or less physical. The rules make it that way, but it don't mean that they're not any less physical than it was when I played. It's just different.
Yeah. And the only difference is also they don't smoke cigarettes at halftime.
Oh, no, they don't smoke cigarettes at halftime.
All of that health diet, all of that working out every single day.
Right.
Do you feel like maybe their game has been, if anything, it's sort of adjusted now to be more mentally and physically tough than it was? Because it's now such a big business. It's now, every player's got to be at the top of their game. Every 53-man roster, there's no room to be slacking. Everyone's got to be peak.
The one thing that's different from football than any other sport is there are no guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
So a team has the ability at any point in time in that contract, depending on how much money they're willing to eat, to get rid of you for whatever reason. Right? You could be cut because they don't want to pay you. Right? They're not bound to that contract. So when you say you always have to be on your game, you always have to produce enough to get your contract the next year. It's a crazy thing. Now, the way they get around it is with signing bonus. So now every time you hear about a contract, they always talk about guaranteed money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, a lot of that guaranteed money is fugazi, because what they do is that, so say June 1st, we'll give you a $2 million roster bonus, right? Consider guaranteed money. All you got to do is show up. What if they cut you on May 30th?
Mm-hmm.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So even that guaranteed money is fugazi.
Mm-hmm.
We got a guy right now, Xavier Howard, that's holding out.
Right,
I see that.
We're in Jersey right now.
X is holding out because he wants more money. He's not even the highest paid corner on his team.
What do you think about that, though? Do you think that the Dolphins should pay him?
Here's what I think. I think, and I tell fans this all the time, if you ain't mad and you don't hold the team responsible when they cut a guy and he got 2 more years on his contract, don't get mad when the guy come in and ask for more money. You can't have it both ways.
Mm-hmm.
If the team would have said your whole contract guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
Then you could say no, we guaranteed your whole contract, but they didn't. You see, so if X come out and have a bad year, they could cut him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they will, but that's the risk you take. You got to be on your game every year. I play running back. Like every year they look for a different running back. Every year. They always thought the other guy, because, oh, he looks faster. He looks this. He looks that.
Yeah.
You know? But the game changes when you get hit. Like, it's not, look, you're going to always be confronted with a tackler if you're a running back. And that's when it matters.
The most hit position.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when your speed and your size don't matter as much as you think.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to be tough as nails. So there's a lot of guys that are big, strong, and fast can't play a lick of football. And when you run a team and you see all that size and speed, you think, ooh, he's a baller. Well, no, he's not. No, he's not. We have a saying for that. Look like Tarzan, play like Jane.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. But I'm not mad at Xavier. I'm not mad at him. Because look at the other side of that. He had 10 picks.
Yeah.
If he had no picks after they just paid Byron Jones, what if they could come to him and say, hey, X, you got to take a pay cut? Nobody wouldn't have had a problem with that. Works both ways.
Mm-hmm. I mean, because I've seen a lot of Dolphins fans kind of have split opinions on this. Like, do you believe that X is the best corner on the roster? Because a lot of people be saying, oh, he's not a true cover corner. Oh, he wouldn't be getting these numbers about Byron.
To be honest with you, I can't answer that because I don't know how they use both those corners. Mm-hmm. Maybe they use them in a way that it funnels all the action to Xavier. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's coming up with the picks.
But that's
right. Exactly. But I will say this. I will say this. You know what you call a wide receiver that can't catch?
Defensive back, man.
That's right.
Exactly.
The fact that he has good ball skills separates him from other corners.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You know, if you going into asked to redo your contract, and you say what separates you from other players, it's that fact. I have good ball skills. I catch the ball. I got 10 turnovers for the team. Now, turnovers are the single-handed most ridiculous stat there is. Because it's luck. It's luck. I mean, besides a sack, forced fumble, right? You're counting on the offense to make a mistake.
Right place, right time.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Now you still got to catch it.
But I don't know.
You're not going to convince him otherwise, right?
I mean, you know, like, I'm an X fan, but obviously I have logic. But I feel like he's one of those corners that intentionally baits the quarterback, because like you see it, he always trails off a bit, and then like because I think like you can say some of them are lock, but like some of them like I don't really think you can put it down to like I went against Tyreek Hill, like stuff like that. Like I feel like he knows like what he's doing in a sense, and he gets them picks, man.
Yeah, by no means is he the best corner in the league, right? But at the end of the day, he's, in my opinion, he's a valuable corner. And
yeah,
I don't know what the asking price that he's asking for. I don't know if you guys know, but
he puts up the best numbers, and he's paid as the 6th cornerback.
Yeah. 6, bro. He's not even the best corner, like highest paid on the team, bro.
Right. And he's not even the highest paid corner on the team. But I will say this to your point. Years ago, there was a cornerback named Nnamdi Asomugha, right? He played for the Raiders and then went to the Eagles. And the crazy thing about him was he got a lot of picks, and he played in Oakland, and they played zone. So basically, if you're a zone corner, you're looking at the quarterback. You're not even looking at the receiver. Yeah. And you jump in pass routes. You're studying film, and it's the ultimate professional when you play zone corner. Because if you do enough film study, you know what routes to jump and whatever. So he got a lot of picks. He went to Philadelphia, and they tried to make him a lockdown corner. And he got blasted.
Yeah.
So one thing I'm going to say about Xavier is I do know that they play a lot of man-to-man. Okay, so I'm not just going to put it on that.
Yeah.
But I can devise a defense to make you throw it where I want you to throw it. Just with the rush, with the coverage, whatever. So I don't know what part of that comes into play. Sometimes it's like a running back. If you're on the 1 yard line, every time your team gets the ball and you end up with 20 touchdowns, you gotta read the room. You can't go in and ask for more money because you had the most rushing touchdowns. Dude, you're rushing from a yard out. You see what I mean? So there's a lot of that. Now, I will say this about the Dolphins. They have said they're working on it. They haven't said he just signed. They have not dismissed it at all, ever. From the head coach to the GM, nobody has dismissed it. And normally, if somebody does that and they don't want anything of it, they'll say, look, he just signed a contract. We're not doing that. They'll come out and say it. They haven't done that. So it's quite possible that they're going to work something out, because it's easy. Look, you can rework a contract and work it so that he gets more money, but he counts less against the salary cap this year. So they could do each other a favor.
Yeah. Yeah, because like to me, I don't know about what your thoughts are on like the Dolphins draft and stuff, but I feel like it takes a step up and plays well. At least like a top 10 QB or something. I feel the Dolphins are almost there, man. I feel like maybe if they got a solid like true first option running back and get like maybe like another linebacker. I think we're almost there, man. When
he says almost there, you said last week AFC Championship. Are you still riding that?
No, yeah, we're going to the AFC
Championship. Here's what I would say. In the AFC, Kansas City, you got the Ravens. Okay. I'm gonna say maybe Indy. Depending on Indy's got a great defense. Like don't sleep on them. Like I'm not a fan of Carson Wentz, so I'm not going to totally just throw it out there and say that they got a chance, but they're going to be somewhere in the mix. You got the Browns, and I put the Dolphins right there. Now I will say this: if the Browns win the AFC, it wouldn't surprise me.
I could see that.
But I take the Browns and I go Kansas City, Baltimore, and then I take the Browns and I throw them in with Buffalo. I throw them in with Pittsburgh. And then the next tier, you're talking about who knows what, the Dolphins, right? Like I put them in that tier where all of the teams, you got them, you got San Diego, you got Vegas, you have who knows what, like people don't forget, damn, New England didn't have half of their team last year. They all opted out. Yeah. How's that going to look? What the hell are they going to do with Cam? Because Cam still likes throwing it to the other team, regardless of what y'all think of him. And he can't run anymore. So that's a dynamic that's been taken from him just because of Father Time.
Yeah.
And you have that group of teams. And then there's always going to be one or two teams that you don't expect to have success, but they do.
Yeah.
So that's where you are. And that's where I put the Dolphins. I put them in that 6, 7, 8, in there. It doesn't mean they can't be higher. But right now, you got Buffalo, clearly a better team.
Yeah.
Right? Who knows what New England's going to do? Now, we'll say this. Defensively, Miami is on par or better than both of those teams.
Yeah.
But Buffalo adds a dynamic ever since they signed old boy from the Vikings.
Yeah.
Right? Ever since they signed him, Josh Allen looks like all world all of a sudden. Because they signed, a weapon on the outside. Now look at Tua.
Now as well.
Yeah.
Tua's in his second year. Mm-hmm. He went 6-3 as a starter last year, or 6-4. I'll give him one of them losses.
Yeah.
6-4. The stat that I'm most impressed with was before the last game, his turnover to interception ratio was really good. As a young quarterback, just go out of curiosity. Go look at Tom Brady's rookie year. Go look at Ben Roethlisberger's rookie year. Go look at Peyton Manning's rookie year. Okay? Go look at how many picks they threw their rookie year. To just chalk it up to say that's not a big deal. It is a big deal. So there's a lot of positive things that are going on with the Dolphins. But without seeing that dynamic, how is Jalen Waddle? Who's going to come back? Is Preston Williams going to come back? Is Devontae Parker going to have another year that he had? Are they ever going to get a run game?
For real, man.
Because here's the deal.
Seems like it's been a minute, man.
Hey, there's Le'Veon on the table.
No,
say what you want about football. Doesn't it always seem like the team that runs the ball well tends to go far in the playoffs? I wonder why that is. So everybody talks about the running back as a dime a dozen. How come only the teams that have one seem to go far in the playoffs?
Mm-hmm.
Because guess what? It's like basketball. You just say in the playoffs, the game slows down. Guess what? Same thing happens in football. There's only a handful of teams come out and just sling it all over the place. Because they start those games, they don't want to shoot themselves in the foot. They don't want to give away turnovers and be out of the game because you decided that you didn't need a running back.
Mm-hmm. We know that from past couple of years. Talk about the NFC Championship game, 49ers win it down. But I mean, at the end of the day, Leroy, I know being the running back, you've got to hype up all the other running backs. I mean, it is one of those positions where it's like, when you see a running back play well, it sort of builds up the team.
Yeah.
They a nice big run. It builds up.
If you can open up the run game, it allows you to do so much more of your offense. So
obviously, actions, you play that round. We're running down towards the end of our interview, but I know Sean wanted to get onto the NBA, and I did have a quick question for you before we get onto the NBA. Bearing in mind, I know nothing about the NBA, so literally whatever you say it'll go one ear out the other. That's going to be for me. I have no idea. I thought that is it Suns in the playoffs, or
Suns. Yeah.
I thought they were still at the bottom of the NBA. I know nothing about the NBA, but quickly before we finish up, talking about the NFL. Being an ex-running back yourself, here's what I was interested to know. With the draft, were there any running backs, personally, that you saw that, maybe looking at film and looking at what they've been saying in the draft, that you think will be a good running back in the NFL, a very solid running back in the NFL from the ones coming out of this class?
I think what you have to be now is you have to be a multiple type of production guy. So you got to be able to catch passes. You got to be able to do a lot of stuff out of the backfield. And I've always been a big fan of Travis Etienne. I just think that he's a guy that can play every down, and you can move him around and do a lot of different things with him, and that makes him versatile. That gives you the ability to do what you need to do on the offensive end. If, say, I go ahead on and put 2 tight ends in the game and then split everybody out. Now you got a tight end and a running back running routes on the linebacker. You know, whatever you can do to create mismatches, and I think he gives you that. You can also line up. He can run in between the tackles. There's not many guys, you know, that can do that. And those are the guys I kind of look at now and say they're going to give you the best opportunity to win. Now, keep in mind, one of the reasons why Derrick Henry wasn't drafted in the first round is because he was built like Gronk. No. In all fairness, you're thinking, hey, just from a football standpoint, when you look at all great running backs, they're a little bit shifty, but they got size to break some tackles, and they can do a lot of things. Derrick Henry just seemed like a one-trick pony. But guess what? Whew, that pony can go, right? Like, he's unstoppable, and he can run. And so he is one of the top running backs in the league. So, yeah, I think if I had to go with one guy, Travis Etienne, I do a show with a guy. He tends to here's what he does for every position in the draft. So they drafted Waddle. You could have got the same guy in the second round. You know, when they drafted, I forgot who they drafted in the second round. You could have got that guy in the third round. I'm like, dude, you got to draft somebody. Why not draft the guy you like? You know, so yeah, they've constantly, you know, he constantly does that. But Travis Etienne would have been the guy if I was drafting a running back wherever, you know, a running back would have been slotted. I would have taken him first.
Yeah. To me, it feels like the running back is, over the past couple of years, has been one of those positions where, depending on who's leading the league, you know, the class develops around that, players develop around that. It's like, you know, the shifty sort of like Le'Veon Bell. Everyone started becoming
low key. I always feel like it's like most of the times the running backs that do good, they're just kind of like they come out of nowhere. Low key. Yeah. That it's not like the projected talent,
like Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb, exactly.
Well,
you don't expect.
Here's the thing about the NFL. Basically, what you're saying is the NFL is cyclical. So, for example, in the 90s and 2000s, everybody wanted a big giant as a wide receiver. So you had the Randy Moss, the Terrell Owens, you had Julio Jones, you had all these guys, right?
Yeah.
And then who broke into the scene? Tyreek Hill. Now look at what everybody going to get.
Yeah, exactly.
I want a burner. He don't have to be big. I want a burner. And now everybody's doing that. Like, so it's like that. It's like that at a lot of positions. Yeah. You look at the tight end, right? Witten was a tight end who also blocked, had a lot of catches, right? Then you look at the kid that came from New Orleans, from Miami. Forgot his name. He played tight end, started making a ton of money, went to Seattle. Jimmy Graham.
Oh, Jimmy Graham, yeah.
Jimmy Graham, right? And now everybody wants a tight end that can spread out. You don't even need to play on the line of scrimmage. Just spread out. So now everybody's getting tight ends like that. Tony Gonzalez, right? Shannon Sharp, right? Yeah. They're all getting these tight ends that don't even really block. They're like big-ass wide receivers. So it's cyclical. It's cyclical. So now, and here's what's funny about it. There's no more Derrick Henrys out there. What you looking for? There's no more Derrick Henrys. So stop looking for one. You know, you know, the last Derrick Henry also came from Ohio State, Eddie George. Same guy, except Derrick Henry is much faster.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's just what they do. You see a certain corner, right? Everybody gonna look for that corner the next year or the following years. You look at quarterback. Wait, remember quarterback had to be 6'3", 220, look stout. Then they went and got an ant. Then soon as Kyler Murray got drafted, it was okay to have a little bitty ass quarterback.
Yeah, for real.
Right? Except they didn't realize that if you're gonna be Kyler Murray, you better run a 4.3.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? There's always a little caveat that they ain't figuring out, with the exception to that rule. So yeah, it happens all the time. It's nothing new to be honest with you. It's really nothing new to sports.
True.
Yeah.
The game's constantly developing.
Right. I mean, look at like the first big guy that could handle the ball in basketball was Lamar Odom. He was like 6'10". Everybody's like, whoa, look at this guy. Right? Yeah. Then you look at LeBron. Now you look at Giannis. You look at KD. You know, now it's no big deal to have a guy that's 6'10" handling the ball up top.
Yeah.
When before, if you went to college or you went to the NFL, they immediately put you at a 4 or 5. Big guy, 4 or 5. That's it. It's not like that anymore. Now all the 5s, all the centers, all the bigs shooting 3s. Not even putting man, look at this. Porzingis is 7'3".
He has no post game.
He acts as if though if he put a foot in the paint, he gonna melt.
Yeah, for real.
So yeah.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy how these trends just be changing.
I guess it's a good bit into our last segment that you two know more about is the NBA and it's obviously the playoffs. I know Sean's got some questions he's wanted to ask you, and I'm just going to sit there and shut my mouth because whatever I say, it will be completely wrong. I know nothing about it.
I just, like after that Heat series, man, I was feeling some type of way. It was probably, it's probably about halftime of game 2 when we was down like 30. I probably just decided, okay, it's probably lost series. But like, how did you think that series went, man? And like, what improvements do you think will probably be the best for next year?
One, Bam has to keep growing. Right? He has to keep improving. He's still relatively young. When you look at the guys that normally have success in the NBA, it's like their 5th, 6th, or 7th year.
Yeah.
So Bam's his 4th year. So he's going to consistently get better. Eventually, I'd like him to do some things like Siakam, where he shoots the 3, can take somebody off the dribble, aggressive at the hoop, stuff like that. Right? That's my ideal. That's what my ideal what Bam would look like. Yeah. They would have been a lot better if Oladipo hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah, I could have made a run if he was
because I don't know about that, dude. You lost 4 games.
So the way we looked, man. I don't even. Maybe if game 1 it would have been different, but we looked just so horrible, man. I don't know, horrible.
You lose 3 games like that, you can pretty much go out on a limb and say there ain't nothing you could have did.
Yeah,
that would have changed the outcome of that series. I tell people that all the time. Sometimes you look at the other team and say they were better. Like now, I got an idiot that I do the show with telling me if the Heat would have won 1 more game, they could have played Atlanta or played the Knicks. Like, you think it would have fared better? Look where Atlanta is.
I mean, like I'm gonna give up to Atlanta, man. They're actually doing well, but I kind of agree in a sense. I think like if we play Atlanta, I think we probably no. Hear me out. Because the key for them was the Bucks wanted the Heat. They built the team. It seems like almost just to beat the Heat. Like I don't think New York, like we were smacking them all season, similar to how we did to the Bucks last year. I'm pretty sure if we played the Knicks, we would have beat them. The Hawks, I think that would have been a tough series, but they don't have anyone that's gonna defend Jimmy Butler like that. And I think obviously we had a lot of issues this season, but if we even won that first game, because I think it was a lot of factors to that, just short off season, players injured, COVID, all of that. Yeah. But I think they looked like mentally checked out after that first loss.
Think about this. All 4 teams that were in the finals of the conference, and all gone.
Yeah.
So there is some truth to that.
Yeah.
But I would say this. If you look at basketball and look at the style of basketball the Heat played, they didn't match up well against anybody in the East. Because all the teams that were good in the East had one thing the Heat didn't have: a big.
Yeah.
So if you want to go look at how many bigs Brooklyn has, who gonna you gonna put Duncan on Griffin, right?
Oh, you know what?
But who's gonna guard KD? Who's gonna guard KD?
Bam.
What point guard is gonna guard Kyrie?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I didn't even mention James Harden. So stop. Let's stop there.
They're all injured at this point.
No, right. But let's take it further. What they gonna do with Joel Embiid?
You know, I was genuinely...
What they gonna do with Ben Simmons?
Okay.
I don't like Ben Simmons. I don't like Ben Simmons. I don't like Ben Simmons one bit. I think he's a disgrace for this reason. You are a max player in the highest level of basketball in the world, and you play point guard. You should be able to shoot free throws.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, you know, like, respect him. He's a good defender, but I feel like...
No, he's not. Really?
Well, that's actually the point. Yeah, I think he's okay, but like, you're a 6'10" guy guarding 6'3" guys. It's like, obviously you're gonna lock him up. Like, it's not gonna be that hard. It's like, and that's the thing. Like, I think at one point, a commentator said that he is like an overrated player. I have to agree with that. I think
he is because everybody looked at his size. Yeah, and everybody looked at, and it goes back to that thing that I was telling you about. Everybody got enamored with the 6'10" point guard.
Yeah, ball handler.
That they didn't treat him like a point guard because he didn't play point guard in college. He played 4 in college. Yeah. The other thing is, okay, we're not even talking about Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I mean,
and I don't care. I don't care what you say, right? Everybody could have been ready to go. The Heat would not beat Milwaukee. They weren't good enough. And that happens. That happens. That happens. And could it be everybody was exhausted, banged up? Absolutely. There's some truth to that, just by the simple fact that every team that was in the conference championships is out.
Yeah.
That's a rare thing where you have 4 new teams that are going to be in the conference championships. Yeah, okay. That being said, look at Kawhi. Kawhi's banged up. Look at Brooklyn, Kyrie and James Harden.
Yeah.
So you might have a team like Utah or Phoenix win it because they're healthy. And I don't know what the situation is with Chris Paul because he popped for the COVID, right?
I mean, at least they got some time off.
But he's vaccinated, so his time frame is a little bit different, right? He just needs 2 negative tests.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy. Look, I used to think that watching a team, grow, and watching a team, okay, in the 90s, it would be like, okay, Jordan couldn't get past the Pistons. Then he got past the Pistons, and it was his turn. And then they took over. And then Houston had the couple of years when Jordan was gone. And then Jordan came back 3 more, So it was like teams working their way up. Now it's not like that, right? Now you can basically buy a championship.
Everybody just wants to go off, just make a super team at this point, man. No,
that's all right. Hey, guess what? Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Would you rather work for Joe Schmo Phone Company, or would you rather take your talents to Apple?
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Who's gonna have more success? Who's gonna enable you to do what you do longer?
Yeah, but you know what? Well, initially, I'd want to try grow Joe Schmo and that. Try make up.
People are lazy, dude. People are lazy. Stop acting like you got work ethic all of a sudden. I ran into the only person in the world that mysteriously have work ethic. We don't. We work hard. But if I have two choices in life, let's see. I had a choice. I could have played for the New York Jets or the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I want to win.
I get that, especially in football, but in basketball, where one player has a lot bigger effect, I'm the type of person, like, I kind of want to challenge. I don't want it to just be easy, because to me, that don't prove that much. Like,
you know what your name is then? I'm going to just start calling you Dame Dollar, because you're going to stay in Portland and you're going to lose.
Okay, at that point, it's okay to leave, man. At that point, I mean, you can probably come to the Heat if you want to, I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that's okay, but, I do get what you're saying, though. But
but it's been, look, when you watch basketball now, aren't you? By the way, I went to sleep after 3 quarters last night.
Really?
I got up this morning. I do my show at 6.
Yeah.
So we start the show, and they start talking about the Sixers. I said, what happened?
Crazy.
I thought like, you didn't watch? I said, no, I went to bed after like 3 quarters. Yeah. I'm like, this is done.
I thought at halftime that was lights, man. And then I see that and I'm like, there's no way they did this twice in a row, man. That's crazy.
No way. But that just goes to show you. Look, here's a lesson in life, right? Everybody hears about the process. Everybody hears about the process. In no way, shape, or form can you go to an organization that allows you to be a loser. Okay? Yeah. So basically, Philadelphia for 5 years promoted losing.
Mm-hmm.
And so no matter how good your players are, you now have a culture of losing.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when you get into these moments right here, when you get into these tough stretches, when you get into these moments of angst and there's moments of pressure, right?
Yeah.
They're just gonna say, trust the process. Do.
Yeah.
They're not gonna fight through it.
Yeah.
They're not. They have no intestinal fortitude, as they would say. None.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Think about this. You have a max player on your team. And I could have been the point guard in the 4th quarter. And they would have won. You know why?
Yeah.
Because I can make free throws. That's it.
Yeah.
I could have been out there with flip-flops, right? And a bandana and my mouthpiece in and my helmet. And they would say, who's this guy? Foul him. Right? But I would have made my free throws.
Yeah.
And so think about that. You paying a guy $40 million a year.
Yeah.
And if you would have had anybody else on the court, you would have won that game.
And I mean, it's like the only way you can get paid that much and not make your free throws if you're Shaq, man. Shaq. That's pretty much
if you're big. But Joel can make his free throws.
Yeah, you can, but like I know, but then like Ben Simmons, obviously he's on I'm pretty sure he's on a decent deal. Like he's just not worth. Like it's just not it, man. Because the guy's
another lesson in life, young fella. What you get paid is not what your worth is.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes guys get max contracts because somebody else will give it to them.
Uh-huh.
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't mean he worth it. It means somebody will pay for it.
Uh-huh.
I mean, how many times have you gone into a store and you looked at an item, you're like, damn, this ain't worth that much. And somebody right behind you say, you gonna buy that? And then you say, yeah.
Yes.
Right?
I hear that.
Because I want one.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like, come on. Wait, it costs $10 to make a pair of Jordans, but people paying $200 for them?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
right. They worth $10.
Yeah.
But people are paying $200 for them.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, get out. Ben Simmons is a pair of Air Jordans, right? They cost $200, but they worth $10. There you go.
Yeah. Well, you know, so I say it's probably worth a little less than a pair of Jordans. At least a pair of Jordans, you can wear them. You know, yeah, it's probably worth a pair of Shaqs. Yeah.
Shaqs.
And, you know,
there ain't nobody wearing no Shaqs. Get out of here. Nobody wearing no Shaqs.
So next season, nobody's gonna be wanting Ben Simmons, man. Like, I think that if they do lose, do you think that they're probably gonna blow up that core?
No, they ain't gonna blow up the core. They're just gonna blow up Ben Simmons. But here's the problem. Remember when they could have had James Harden and they didn't want to trade Ben Simmons? Now they stuck with Ben Simmons.
Yeah, now that's looking like a
here's how I look at it. Everybody says they have a problem with James Harden game. Great players play the style of game that's required of them. James Harden is a great player. It's funny how nobody talked about usage rate and ball hog when he got to Brooklyn.
Yeah, because he adapted, man.
Right.
Yeah, and it worked.
That's what great players do.
Exactly, yeah.
You know, how many times you see LeBron have 15 assists and 15 points, and then one game he had 50 points and 3 assists. Yeah. Read the room. That's what great players do. Yeah. So the fact that they didn't want to give up Ben Simmons means that you're supposed to be stuck with Ben Simmons forever. I hope nobody wants him forever.
Yeah, for real.
Just because you were hard-headed.
Exactly.
James Harden. Yeah. Could you imagine right now James Harden, Tobias Harris, and Joel Embiid?
For real, man.
Go. Really?
Right. Like at that point, man, they're probably the favorites for the East.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's crazy.
So good. So whoever that GM is Daryl Morey from Houston. So yeah, good for them. You stuck with him now. That's like they said the same thing down here in Miami. Like, ooh, you guys want James Harden? You got to give up Tyler Hero.
Yeah, you know, like, because I've seen some stuff. Apparently, we didn't have the picks to make it work or something.
You were never going to get him because you don't have first round draft picks.
Yeah,
and if you're going to give up a talent like that, you don't want to acquire players. You want to acquire picks so that you can build a team that grows together. You see what I mean? Now, so a lot of times what they do is this. If you have a trade like that, you'll trade 2 or 3 expiring contracts that add up to the money, and you'll trade 2 or 3 first-round picks.
Yeah.
So they'll take the expiring contracts and send those guys home and just pay them, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the first-round picks for the next few years. Now, the reason why the Heat don't never care about draft picks is because when are they drafted? 20th?
Yeah.
You know? Who cares?
Yeah,
who cares?
Exactly.
That's why I tell people all the time. Like with the Jalen Waddle thing. Why did the Dolphins trade up? They could have kept 12. Why? Go get your guy.
Yeah.
What is the extra first rounder gonna do? Right?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
get your guy.
Are we trying to win now? We're just trying to stack first rounders for the next, you know, however.
That's some people like that. Some people like saying, some general managers like saying, we got three first round picks in the next 2 years and 2 first rounders for the next 2 years. And you know what the unfortunate thing about that is? I'm thinking to myself, I hope you still have that job.
Yeah. Like, I don't get, like, I see people and it's like, oh, let's trade X. I saw someone say let's trade him for something, like, I can't even remember, some running back that's not that good, like Melvin Gordon or something, and then like a 3rd round pick. And I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, we're gonna have to spend like this much. We're gonna have to find another corner to replace him, and by that time, probably like the other player's gonna need to get paid, and then like it's just gonna mess everything up. So
this is the one thing I hate about. This is the one thing I hate about trading players for picks. Because what are you going to be looking for in that draft? The guy that you just got rid of.
Exactly.
So if you spend all your time and you get the guy, what's the point?
Exactly. Yeah.
You can say at some point, if you hope you get another Xavier Howard, guess what you're going to have to do? Pay him.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
And then you got to count on him actually being able to step up to
And to play at that
Right.
level,
not get injured, be where he is.
I'm generally convinced certain fans would rather have picks instead of actually winning the Super Bowl. Like,
absolutely.
it's crazy to me. It's crazy.
Something
Absolutely.
to look forward to. I think that's the reason why they know they're not going to get to Super Bowl. So they're like, oh, well, I wonder if this guy's going to turn out good. I wonder if he's going to be the next big thing. But
the success rate in the first round is 45-50%.
Mm-hmm.
You could have a guy, you know exactly what he's going to do. If somebody offer you a first rounder for him, everybody get all excited, not realizing that you just lessened your chances of winning, then increase them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because now you got to go find a certain player.
Exactly, man.
The only exception to that rule is Pro Bowler for Pro Bowler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which never happens. Mm-hmm. When have you seen a Pro Bowler trade for a Pro Bowler?
Very, very, very rarely.
Right.
Yeah.
It's usually Pro Bowler for bumming picks.
Yes, exactly.
Right? That's it.
Yeah.
Unless you're the Texans, where you give away one of the best wide receivers
for nothing, man. Yeah.
For nothing, right?
Bag of Skittles.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And gave 3 first-round picks for the tackle, Laramie Tunsil.
But that's looking at the best pick ever, man, at the moment, though.
Yeah. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? They flipped that 1 first-round pick into 3 first-round picks.
Exactly, man. But that's actually crazy.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you on, Leroy.
Yeah,
thank you
always,
so much,
man.
Again,
always a pleasure, man.
Before you get going, tell the people where they can find you, when they can listen to your show, and what you've been up to. If you've got anything you want to promote and plug and get in there while you are.
So you can just follow me at Big Mouth Leroy on Twitter. Also, we do Twitch from 6 to 10 Eastern in the morning.
Yeah.
So it would be 12 to 4 your time, right?
Yeah.
12 p.m. for just go to $7.90 the ticket on twitch.com. And I'm the same way. I just yell at 2 other guys. Right? It's all like I do the same thing. I'm me all the time, right? I don't ever have to worry about. The one thing about me is I don't have to worry about a story I told or a lie I told, because I just tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, what I'm about to say might hurt you more than it's gonna hurt me, but I ain't gonna keep it on my chest.
You know what? I think Tobin. I don't think Tobin's particularly fond of Memphis.
Huh?
I don't think he's particularly fond of you.
Why?
Why?
How do you explain why?
Oh, who? Oh,
Tobin.
Oh, you need. Yeah. We needed to bring this one up.
Yeah.
We've been trying to get Tobin on our show for how many times now?
I don't know. I think there was twice that
two, maybe 3. Yeah. Every single time it's been a blank. We don't know. We want him on, but he won't even acknowledge it.
Now I will say this. One of the things you have to understand is that we communicate with our personal emails. So we don't use our work email. So when you text us at work, plus, and it's like a lot of our emails go to spam. So he may not even be getting it.
Oh, we're talking Instagram. He's seen that.
Yeah, Instagram.
He left us on red.
I'm gonna check him out. I'm gonna tell him. I'm gonna call him out. I'm gonna call him out tomorrow. I'll call him out and say, hey man, my guys been trying to have you on, and you don't even respond back. They've been hitting you up on Instagram. What's up? I get him.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. It's always a good time when you come on, man. Good energy, funny, interesting stuff, man. Appreciate it, man.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah, you have a good day, man. Appreciate
Thank you so much.
Till next time, man.
There we are, Leroy. Thank you for joining us. Everyone will go follow him. Big Mouth Leroy.
Yeah.
Go check him out on there.
The ticket.
I'm upset, man. Tobin didn't reply. It wasn't even the fact it was the emails. It was just he didn't even want.
Left us on red, bro.
Twice.
Left us on twice,
or
bro.
3 times or something.
That one bad, man. Okay.
Well, we got a guy on it tomorrow.
Yeah,
he's gonna sort it out.
Shout out to Leroy, man.
Shout out to Leroy. We'll take a quick break and then we're gonna come back to our fan 2 segments. So give us a couple minutes and we'll be right back with our next segments. Thank you so much for listening to our podcast so far, and we'll see you very soon. right, so we're back. Thank you, Leroy, as you said towards the end, for joining us. It was a good interview, good insight into some things. That I think the best bit about actually having him on the show is you're talking with a guy who's been in the league,
who knows what he's talking about.
Who knows what he's talking about. So it's always good to have him on there and get his insights, especially at the OTAs, like how it was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like proper good insight, man. Yeah,
good detail and a fun guy to have on as well. So we've got him on the case. He is going to go after Tobin for us, and maybe we'll have him on. We'll have him on the live. We'll have to,
that might be a little bit awkward at that point.
Maybe. We'll have to see. But shout out to Leroy coming on. But we're going to get into our next topic, which is Madden. We spoke briefly about Madden before when they signed a new contract and everything. But Madden has released their cover this year, Madden 22 cover. The two athletes on there being Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes.
But why was people roasting it? Oh, I saw that's what you said.
If the people, number one, people are roasting the game in general.
Oh, just the game.
Everyone's roasting the game in general. Every time they post something, they're roasted because they need to do a better job for a start.
Because realistically, bro, it's the same shit every year. Bro. But they don't change anything, man.
For people who haven't seen it, I'll explain and give you a brief sort of like a explanation to what the cover is. Bearing in mind, this is the MVP edition, right? Most valuable player.
Bro, none of them even won MVP.
Who was the most valuable player last season?
Derek. Bro, I can't even remember.
You say Derek?
Bro, I was about to say Derek.
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah, Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
And the two guys on the cover for Madden 22 aren't even the MVP.
I don't make sense in that context, but I think it makes sense they're on the cover because I feel it's like old new generation, like the two best.
They did have it like a goat and baby goat trailer, but let me show you the. Have you seen it yet, or it just been the first time?
I've seen like a tiny bit, I think, but not. I think I seen what you sent me, but I was only like 20 seconds, so you can watch it. Yeah.
So we'll watch the trailer, but I'm talking about the actual cover.
Brady and Mahomes. I think I've seen it. Yeah.
You think you talk about like old Madden covers, you had them actually playing and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know what Madden are going with here, but this is their cover. What do you think?
Right, okay, I see what people like low-key kind of. So yeah, that shit's ass.
It's literally just Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes staring into a camera on the floor.
Bro, that looks like they just didn't even put effort.
They had a whole filming session in. I think it was in Tampa. They took out a high school football field there, the whole shooting session. You're telling me that's what they got?
Could make something better on my BlackBerry.
That's what they got. It's literally just a normal photo you see like some guys post on like
Instagram, literally, bro.
And that's how cool. I mean,
that's how they come in nowadays, bro. All the game covers is just gonna be Instagram.
Like it's Instagram worthy. For real. It's disappointing, but how awkward would it have been? This only happened. That photo shoot only happened in the space of a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two. From the Super Bowl. How awkward do you think that meeting was at first? I mean, I know there's mutual respect, but after you just beat them in the Super Bowl and then celebrated like that, like, come on, there's got to be some.
I mean, I get what you say. It is low-key awkward, but I mean, the professionals. Like,
true.
And they're getting money. They get more. I feel like once they kind of say hello and stuff. They break the ice a bit. It's probably it's not that bad.
True. Maybe talk about how the Super Bowl party was.
Maybe
Brady.
I mean, bro. At that point, bro, I have to tell him I'm gonna drop him off next year, bro. Maybe he did say that, so you never know.
Well, the cover has been released. It's M2 on the cover. That says the MVP edition, right? I don't know if they're gonna change that for the regular.
I mean, if the regular edition ain't Aaron Rodgers, bro, that makes like no sense. Man.
I don't think there will be Aaron Rodgers on the cover. You got to think if this guy.
Who is it gonna be then? Derrick Henry or something.
That's if they decide to go with them. Maybe this is just a different look for the MVP edition. Mm-hmm. God knows what. I mean, we not know too much, but what we do know, there is a trailer out, and we do have the trailer on there. Obviously, anyone who's listening in podcast format can't see the trailer, but you can go on online. You can type in Madden 22 trailer. We'll get that going now, and then let's get your reaction to how the game looks, how it feels. And I am impressed by the quality, but at the same time, it's a trailer. Like you know how it is. So
always look better and dead than the real game.
We'll put the trailer on. You guys can take a look, and then we'll give our opinions afterwards on what we think to the trailer and Madden 22.
see a lot of teams try and restart the clock with their quarterbacks.
What happens if they add confidence? Who's most likely to return to the Super Bowl?
That's what it's about, baby!
So it's not nice. I just made a miss. I just made a miss. I was in the hour.
To the sideline, Diggs. Oh, what a
I
catch.
just made a miss.
Henry, shoving defenders out of the way. Look at the move by Cook. They can't even lay a glove on him. To the pylon, and it's intercepted.
Making plays. Are you serious, bro?
This Denver crowd making it tough on the Kansas City offense, making it hard to hear yourself think. And Mahomes, he's saying the same thing. He can't hear anything. One final try now for Brady. Looking downfield for Godwin. They'll go for it. It's Mahomes. Pressure coming from Chubb. He just gets this away deep. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. He caught it! Are you kidding me?
So, what do we think? First impression.
Bro, I ain't finna lie. I didn't think the mic was muted. I didn't even think the mic was muted.
That's all you're talking all the time.
Yeah, all I have to say is they hold the shit out of some Dolphins players, bro. What's that all about, man?
It's just a game. And it's just like games. And we know Madden isn't realistic, so you don't have to worry too much about that. But so I'll give you my first opinion. And there's one thing we do actually know about the game is you saw all the fans, right? Like that trailer, literally, the majority of the clips are like fans and like the home field advantage. Yeah. There will be an aspect in the game where if you're at home, say for example you're trying to come back in the fourth quarter, there will be home field advantage. It's going to make it
like
harder.
Shake and shit.
I think so. I suppose to make it harder.
On 2K when you're taking free throws. They should.
It's supposed to make it harder for the opposing team, make it easier for you. Yeah. It gives you more chance to make these like comebacks. My only worry is that becoming too overpowering. It's like the game wants you to win for the the game, not like how good you are.
Right. Then I'm gonna tell you something, bro. If they do it in a way where they just make bullshit happen, like you're just there. No pressure, you just overthrow a receiver, bro. I can tell you, bro, there's a lot of control is going to be broken in this.
That's literally what Madden is, regardless of what.
Well, bro, it's going to increase by, the school threat level. A lot more people are going to get badges handed out, bro, everywhere, bro. Hazards to the nation, bro.
Just because of Madden.
Madden's
literally just going to destroy. I mean, to be fair, playing last year's game, which I got for free. I didn't put my money into it. I'm happy I can say that. Yeah. Got that game for free, and I'll tell you now, I would not buy that game if I.
It's just the same as 20.
Just the same. Just the same.
I didn't have 20, so I mean, last Madden I had was 16.
So there was a big step up.
So a big step up
in there. But so Madden 22, home field advantage. You got the fans. Like I said, it is a trailer, but one thing I did notice was. Animations looked a lot smoother. There was some animation.
I think, the thing that I think looked kind of dope was, when he was going like that with his helmet and like he couldn't hear and shit. I think that looked alright, but I'm not gonna lie, most of the shit just looked the same.
How much is that? Just what I mean, like how much is that just for the trailer? How much is animated? Because it did look good quality. Like if you wasn't really paying attention, you might mistake.
There was nothing in there that made me excited, made me think like, "Raw, this is mad." Like no. Mm-hmm. Like apart from that little thing, but that wasn't even like big. So
that was like
it's little detail.
Well, they're coming back with like the yard, all the sort of face of the franchise is brand new.
Lucky the yard is ass. Yeah, I don't know if like I'm not playing that shit right, but that shit's just ass.
Yeah, I thought so. From when I thought the yard was like, say for example, you want to be QB, right? It's like a.
Bro, this is deja
like vu. 4-4.
We've literally, I'm pretty sure we've said these exact words before.
Nah.
Unless I'm tripping, bro.
This is not deja vu, bro. This is a brand new. is that we did talk about Madden before.
I swear we probably talked about the yard.
We probably have talked about the yard.
Yeah, I feel like it's
but
I can't carry on.
It is just one of those things where, to me, when I played it, I was thinking, oh yeah, I'm just going to go up against some other guys who are playing. Some of them wide receivers, some of them completely different, man. It's like a struggle to play the game, and at the end of the game,
but that shit just bored, bro. I feel like they tried to make some next My Park thing on Madden, bro, and that shit just wasn't it, bro.
Imagine a My Park on Madden. You can hop in, you can hop.
Yeah, but it just don't hit the same.
Work,
exactly.
Yeah.
So
You get pick up basketball games. You don't get pick up football games unless it's like an organized bunch of friends who like play.
Nobody,
other than that, you can't.
Nobody. That's not even like one of them. Like basketball. Or like to the courts, bro. Pick up, run a 2v2, 3v3, bro. We ain't just going down to Forest, bro, and finding people to play a tag American football game. Ain't it, bro?
Well, with Madden 20 coming, do you think? Honest question: do you think you'll get it straight away?
Madden 22. Mm-hmm. No, bro. I'm not probably done buying Maddens for a good 5 years.
Good 5 years.
And
so we go for another
wait till it gets completely.
I think the one thing with like Madden though is like, for me, those sort of games, I literally just wait like 5 months, and if the bugs, like if I want the game I can't get through, the bugs aren't fixing everything. I'm not budgeting my money. That's my issue with Madden. It's just everything's just like taken out from what it used to be.
Yeah.
Like we'll be excited for in that game is the face of the franchise. If they can do them right, the story modes can be quite good. We saw it like with 2K and everything, but I don't know. Did you play the face of the franchise from last year's Madden?
No, bro.
No. You are not. You are not missing out on anything.
You are not missing out on anything. Franchise is terrible on Madden. I don't know why, but it's just bad. Like,
doesn't feel like you.
It doesn't immerse you at all, bro. Like.
But in that trailer though, I don't know if you clocked it, and I only clocked it after going back like 3 times. But there is like a brand new menu screen that I quickly showed in there, and you can go over like players' health, players' strength, players' like stamina.
Yeah.
So I guess there's more ways to become like the coach or like overviewing the team.
Yeah, but like low-key, they always have that shit. It just doesn't really mean
it needs a revamp, in my opinion. A complete revamp.
And they just bring something. Like I know there's not a lot you can do because it's the same shit every year, but like, bro, come on, like just make it.
There is one thing they can do. What? Actually, make it realistic.
Well, yeah.
We're not on a server that is made for Battlefield. The whole game is based down to animations. When you play football, right? I've seen a clip earlier today actually, and this is the sort of thing that I don't like about Madden. It's why I fell out of love with Madden. Is there was a route run by a receiver. Yeah. The DB read the route and was running on the guy's route before he even ran it.
All right. Yeah.
Everything is so animation based, scripted, and it's like the game knows. Are you ever like? I'm trying to think.
I'm not like really a technology expert.
A technology.
Yeah, technology expert. Official, but I didn't really think that made that big of a difference. Like what engine it's on.
Well, when you think about it, if the engine that it's programmed on is made for like Call of Duty, Battlefield, it's all animation based, and then you put it in a game where it's supposed to be running on a sports the whole aesthetic is completely off. One's a shooter, the other one is predetermined. You must have noticed when you play.
Well, no, obviously there's certain animations where it's like, okay, I know this is gonna be a pick, even though, my player is gonna
easy one. You know when a field goal gets blocked.
Yeah, but I've never had my field goal blocked.
You've never seen a field goal blocked in Madden.
I've seen it, I just haven't had it happen. So.
The game it doesn't matter what you do. There's nothing you can do. But then all of a sudden your field goal kicker will the kicker will approach his field goal, and the ball be snapped, and he'll wait a second, and the next thing you know, this guy it bursts around the end, the ball's there.
Oh, I think I have seen.
Whenever you do that regularly, the guy doesn't even get off the line in time to put. But when the ball gets blocked, as soon as that animation kicks in, I know this ball's getting blocked. Yeah, because my kicker goes like this, and then he goes towards the ball, and it's like. Why do we pay money for a game where we know what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, and when something like, bro, come on, you've seen it where like a shit DB is kept up with, like top talent in
like,
the game. And you're like, how is he?
Like, it don't make any sense.
Or
but you know what's bullshit, fam? It's like this is obviously gonna happen the majority of the times.
Mm-hmm.
But say you're playing Ultimate Team, it don't even have to be Ultimate Team. But if you're like play, say you have like a 90, 95 rated like corner, and then you have like an 80 rated receiver, bro.
Mm-hmm.
The receiver will never be like they will never make the catch unless you run like some mad route where like.
Well, that's where the money is. That's why you got to pay a bit more so you get the better player.
Yeah, exactly, bro. So
I was going to mention one simple thing that you could definitely tell is that like the animation controls the game is when you make a throw to, say for example, you wide receiver running out, and that ball should have a little height on it, but it doesn't because it's Madden, and then all of a sudden this fucking a linebacker who is sat in the middle of the field extends his arm way far back, jumps back from the ball,
what I'm saying,
and snags the ball like at the line of scrimmage, and you're like, come on, like it's so it gets the ball in its sights, and it's like I can get that. And how many linebackers you see making these like vertical jumps like that to grab balls? Half of them can't.
Half of them
catch
look
anyway.
like the Yama Pacadonos or some shit down.
And then they're out doing OBJs.
That's what I'm saying.
Picking my ball up, bro. And that's the one thing that's got to change if I'm gonna buy Madden 22.
Yeah,
I'm not paying 60.
Yeah, nah, bro. I don't think I'm getting it regardless, bro, because I ain't really trying to spend 60, 70 pounds for the same shit, bro.
Well, if it's better,
right? If someone buys me that shit, then okay. If it goes on offer for like half price,
the game's a lot better. Then
if the game's a lot better, but it's not. I don't think it's gonna
pay that money. Literally, it's like paying $60 for a roster update.
Yeah,
every single year.
Exactly.
And last year they couldn't even be bothered to change the uniforms. They literally photoshopped the uniforms on players because they couldn't be bothered to get new photos and change it on there.
Yeah. By the way, man, if you're watching live, don't be afraid to drop some comments down, man.
We do have 2 viewers in right now.
Yeah, 20.
Oh, there is
20,000, bro.
20,000. It's my eyesight. It's my eyesight.
It must be a literal.
It is my eyesight.
Or something, bro.
Yeah, of course. Before. Unless there's anything else you want to say about Madden?
No, nothing.
We've seen the trailer.
Yeah.
We know the cover athletes. Until we know more, there's not too much we can say about it. Hopefully they fix this shit. But let's be honest, they won't.
Yeah.
There is one thing I want to quickly bring up before we get into our final topic. And I think you might know what it is. We was going to talk about it quickly before Leroy came in.
I think I know what it is. We
made a video last week. I uploaded this video, and it's just us talking about the Titans. Now, when we do these segments, we talk about, say, for example, the Titans, and we discussed them for maybe 20, 30 minutes last week.
Yeah.
And we had a small section of our stream. We chopped that in, and we gave our predictions, our schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, we got a bit of hate.
Yeah, bro, I know what people be talking. Bro.
We got a little bit of hate. But do you want to get into it? I think you want to just because from what I got is a lot of them were annoyed with one guy was annoyed with our comment about the Jets winning.
The Jets. Yeah.
And then another guy was annoyed with the fact that, and this one's not on me, but you was going a lot on about their defense.
Yeah.
So do you want to cover? I can cover.
So we can interchange and we'll give up. Yeah. First of all, bro, it's called as a casual, bro. You probably support.
Well, hold on. The guy who called us casual, that was the Jets fan, wasn't it?
The Jets fan.
The guy who's saying the Jets wouldn't win. Sorry.
Yeah. So what team you support?
Well, there's one thing I can tell you though.
What
is? I think it was. So he made a comment afterwards talking about how the Jets, no one had took a snap in that all the quarterbacks in the Jets. I was looking at Pat McAfee's videos not long after he made that, and that was one of his videos. So it seems like he's getting a lot of his information from Pat McAfee. Yeah. I don't know if that he's pulled that out of his brain or if he's dragged that out from there. But talk about casual. Anyway, carry on.
I mean, might probably support the time. Probably mad that they've never won anything.
Who do you support?
Probably supposed to Titans, bro. It's kind of mad.
I did have
getting
Titans,
smacked
yeah,
up
yeah.
here. So, you know, if you spot it for a Titans fan and you're upset, I understand it. You don't need to take out on us, man. Like, you know, you got a casual team, you know, casual first round exit team, but no, in regards to that, man, like, I'm not a Titans fan. I don't claim to be a Titans fan. I don't claim to know their whole roster, because the only team that can comment, I think, alone on their roster is the Dolphins. You know, maybe the Patriots got some knowledge in them, but the Titans, in my opinion, I think they've gotten worse. I look and I double checked, and I think we both double checked the moves they made. I did not see, unless, bro, they literally looked like they were signing players, bro, that, you know, probably be out the league like a year or two, bro, at this point, bro. So I don't know, maybe that helps you, that those moves help you, bro. But you know, like, you lost Butler, they lost Clowney. I don't. He probably wasn't that big of a contributor, but
at the end of the day, they still were lower ranked in the defense, or the lowest ranked defense in the league. So
that's what I'm saying.
There's not too much room to get worse.
But I don't think they've improved. Like, I may be wrong, but I don't think that. At the end of the day, we'll kind of see what happens this season. But do you think they're gonna do better? What did they go this season? 10-6, 11-5.
Well, from what we was talking about, I was pretty confident on the picks we made. Yeah. Both of them. That guy obviously disagreed with our comment about the win of the Jets. I just said, bro, like, upsets can happen. Right?
You know,
the Jets,
and that's one I kind of look at the Jets and I'm like, okay, I know the Jets are a shit team, but I just feel
they're not tanking.
But they're not tanking.
They're trying to play this year.
They're trying to play. They got a couple new pieces that I like. You know, they have a new QB. Maybe they have a new coach, man. Maybe they're gonna show up, bro. Maybe they go on the street and they just happen to catch them.
Upsets.
Exactly, bro. And
upsets happen.
And
I think we said that as well.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a team I expect them to get upset by. And I feel like it's a team that, because I don't think the Titans are like, you know, like one of them teams to be like scared of. I feel like you have to respect them, obviously, because they have a lot of good talent. But like, you know, you lost who's the tight end that went to you lot? The tight end you lot just picked on. Whoever his name is, bro.
That's my mind as well.
Yeah, you know, lost Corey Davis, man, and like, obviously you picked up Julio Jones, but at the same time, man, I think your offense, I think it's debatable if you want to say it got better or not. And then some people may say yes, some people may say no. But I don't think this team is gonna do better than they did last year, man. Like, I just don't think that. You may end up winning the division, and I'm not saying you won't, but I just don't think you're gonna be that good. Like, your division is ass, so you should win the division. Because I still think that they're the best team in that division. So yeah, but I don't think they're to any Titans fans watching this, respectfully, you're not getting past the first round, bro. You know, I'd probably face off against the Dolphins. And already that's probably at least a 20-point blowout or something, bro.
20-point blowout?
Yeah, 20, bro, come on, bro. It's not even a question at that point, bro. I know Tannehill, bro. And to whoever said about NFL casual fan, I'm an expert fan on Tannehill. So I know about Tannehill. I know when he can perform, when he can't, and his limitations and his whatever's from. So
you did have a Tannehill jersey as well.
I do have.
Do we still have that?
I still have a Tannehill. It's upstairs somewhere.
When was the last time it came out?
I wear it more recently now that I've got another. Yeah, now that I've got another jersey, I can afford to, like, you know, fuck up a bit more.
So it's your just.
It's kind of like you know how when you have like one pair of shoes and you just be like hella value in it, but then when you cop another pair, you start like that first pair of shoes, you know, you can like start to kind of wear it a bit more now. Yeah, so that's kind of like, especially like he doesn't play for the Dolphins, so I'm not. And he's not exactly a Dolphins legend, so I ain't gonna be rocking that jersey, like, you know, to like, I don't know, some drips. So, you know, it's just my casual NFL jersey. If I'm just, you know, trying to wear it, just trying to wear a jersey.
Dolphins legend, imagine.
Dolphin, yeah.
Ryan Tannehill, Dolphins legend. It doesn't even fit in the same sentence. Don't even sound right.
Let's just not talk about that.
I know we won't talk about that period in time. We know what happened there. Doing well now though. He's not doing too bad now. Nice little team around him. Some good wide receivers around him. But I guess it's time to...
Actually, no, one last thing, bro.
Oh, okay.
You can call us a casual fans or whatever. You know, sometimes I do be a casual fan because I really don't be fucking with a lot of the other teams, so I don't like care to know about them, fam.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to say that, bro, I can almost guarantee, bro, you support a casual team. And that's all I have to say. You know, bro, unless you support like the Chiefs, Dolphins, Bills, and, you know, maybe Packers, Bucks, the Dolphins, and like the Dolphins is probably a casual team.
So all those teams are casual teams?
No, they're not casual teams.
They're not casual teams. Okay, so what, the Chiefs aren't a casual team?
I said the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are.
They're not a casual team.
They're not a casual team.
So Bills, Dolphins, Chiefs, you know, maybe Ravens. And
what are we
said
classing
before.
as casual?
Well, in terms of this season, they're even not making the playoffs, so they're getting dropped off.
So you're trying to say a team that isn't a contender?
Not even a contender, but just, you know, they're getting dropped off maybe first round. But like the only reason the Titans are even gonna probably make the playoffs this year is because their division is generally terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you support anyone in any team in that division, they're all casual teams, bro.
Fair play.
And they've probably never won a championship.
If you upload this clip on you and we put a few tags on
Bro,
it and anyone sees it,
I guarantee, man, if you lot have something to say it, bro. We'll keep fighting it back.
True. It depends what it is. Some things I won't debate. But I guess we get into our final topic finally before we finish. It could be sad times ahead for both of us with Xavier Howard. We talked about that earlier, wanting a new contract. Stephon Gilmore looking like he wants the same thing. Both of them missing minicamp, not coming to what they're supposed to, you know, be attending. Well, we discussed Xavier, and obviously you're not happy. Pay him the money, right?
Pay him the money, man.
I
think deserves it.
Leroy was saying, you know, could be a case of Byron Jones. No, we going with just the fact that Xavier Howard is one of the best to play.
Nah, because he had a 7-pick season without Byron Jones, and then, you know, certain people like, oh, he had Rashad Jones as over the top, and it's like, bro. So when is he actually gonna get credit when he's playing on a terrible team? Like, bro, you have good players around you, bro, but like, you know, that's like, you know, football's a team game. It's not basketball where you can just dominate on your own. Like, at what point, you know?
That's a good thing. A good thing you can say though is, you know, you talk about the turnovers and say, so how many did he have? How many interceptions did we talk about last year?
This season, yeah, 10.
Yeah, 10 interceptions.
Well, 10 interceptions. He had, I know for a fact he had a forced fumble because I was against
us. Yeah, so he had like what? So a minimum 11 turnovers, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you're a QB and you know this guy is already, you know, is picking people off left, right, and center, surely the ball's going somewhere else.
Exactly.
Surely.
And it's like, and then if you have Byron Jones on the other side, you just kind of take your pick. You're most likely either getting your shit. You most likely it's not getting to the receiver, it's getting picked off, or then you have to, you know, kind of start like going to the shorter routes, picking on maybe the.
How many picks did Byron have last season?
Byron actually had, I'm pretty sure he had a career high.
Career high. Do you know what roughly?
He
what
had two.
He
is a guy that does not get picks. He's a guy that's there with his man. He gets, you know, he might get past the flat, but he locks up his guy. But yeah, last season he had 2 picks, man. So obviously there's a big difference. But
well, we are talking about Xavier Howard, the guy being in the defensive player of the year conversation.
Yeah, and like, you know, when I think it's kind of a difference if you compare, because, you know, obviously I have to give Gilmore his respect, obviously for Independence Player of the Year. And then I gotta get some respect to you know, I can't even remember his name at the moment.
Depends who you're talking about.
The other corner on your roster, bro.
And ours?
Yeah.
JC.
Yeah, Jesse Jackson. Yeah. You gotta give us respect, but like I feel that JC Jackson is a good ball hawk corner, and that's a lot what people say about Xavier Howard. But if you look at the numbers, you'll see X had he had the best stats in terms of pass coverages, ball passes defended. He had like the lowest.
Yeah, no, JC Jackson got burned by Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
against the Jets. He did make it back up. He did take the interception, but
yeah, I mean, you know, like it's not easy to get 9 interceptions, and it's like, you know, so you know, I think that both teams have good cornerback tandems, isn't it? So I think you know, if you wanna like, 'cause the thing is, Gilmore is like, he's getting older.
He's getting on there. Yeah.
He's coming off an injury. It really depends. Like, do you want to kind of keep this guy around, or do you want to just offload and maybe get a pick or something?
To be fair, I
low-key thought he was gone. I thought he'd have been dealt already.
Yeah, I thought after he stayed after the draft and everything, I was like, okay, essentially, we still have him. He's still staying around. Now it's come back up that is
your shit faded, bro?
Yeah, don't ask me how.
Oh, what the fuck?
Don't ask me how,
bro. You need to get a refund.
Yeah, no.
Yo.
I've never had any other than this, but I don't know. Maybe it's because I ordered this jersey and it took ages to come.
Did it?
Yeah, I ordered it. It came like 5 months after
I want my money, bro.
Well, it was fine. No, it was fine for like another 5-6 months.
Bro, I didn't know.
And then it fades. Shoulders are still fine, but the front numbering is just gone, bro.
I mean, mine's
wearing today
too, but I ain't watched it too many times.
I wore this jersey a lot since I
won this a couple times.
Even like my older jerseys, I had no issues with it.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what it is. I mean, I think what I'm gonna do next time is get a stitch jersey.
Oh, pay that extra.
Pay that little bit extra. Keep it longer. Proper jersey, maybe. But it'd have to be a good jersey.
It'd have to be a player like worth getting, man.
Yeah, or like a throwback stitch or something.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's got to be something.
Okay, bro. It's like for the Patriots, unless like Matt Jones has like an amazing season, bro. It's like, you kind of getting down like who you gonna pick.
Well, that was the same with you last year.
Well, exactly.
And now it looks like.
Well, no. I always knew I was either gonna pick. I've been wanting to get Xavier Howard's jersey for probably 2 years.
Was it yours between Tua and Xavier? Was it?
Well, at the time I was like, yeah, because low-key I was worried that. But that's the thing. I was waiting. I was like, I want to get X jersey. Well, 1 year I didn't have money. Second year it was a contract year for him. Third year when I got it, it's like, okay, he's re-signed, but now he's unhappy with his contract. It might get traded next season. And I'm like, bro, come on now. And then obviously this shit's happening now. But, hopefully.
Risking it all. Need that jersey insurance.
Man, hopefully,
need that jersey insurance, bro.
For both our sakes, man, hopefully
they stay.
Man.
Well, I had this jersey, I think.
I mean, luckily you actually have quite a few. I only have 2 Dolphin jerseys. I only have one other active player, so.
But actually, if Gilmore leaves, I'll have no active Patriot player jerseys.
That's true, man.
Because Edelman retired.
But you just had to spawn the books at this point, bro. Swap out the badges.
True.
Something like that, bro.
Get a Sharpie on it and put it in.
Exactly, bro.
Do some shit to it. Quickly then. So Gilmore, same situation, sitting it out.
You want him back?
I do want him back. Yeah. That defense needs as much help as possible.
Definitely.
Do I think the Patriots will bring him back? I think it depends on what his calling price is.
And do you think he's going to be the same as he was?
I think it's difficult to replicate a season where the whole defense was good. Bearing in mind, it wasn't just him. That whole defense was dominant. It was like one of the best defenses. Like people consider it one of the best. Like if they'd have carried on the streak, they could have been a dominant defense in the league.
For real.
So it wasn't like he completely did it all himself. He had a good defense around him. So he's not going to be back to the stage he was. He's coming off another injury. He's had a stoppy season last year. I think a couple of times I remember in games just seeing him look completely out. Not him, and then his injury looked aggravated again. Personally, I think number one we do need to bring him back, but then I think it highly depends on what his calling is for the cash.
Yeah. So I think obviously I think probably if he doesn't take a lower deal or whatever, he might be gone. I know what Belichick's doing, but kind of the same debate that we had in terms of like when I was talking to Leroy and just generally amongst Dolphins fans is who's the better corner, but who's more valuable, X or Howard or Byron Jones. Who do you think is more valuable to you, like Gilmore or JC Jackson?
Well, in terms of valuable, what do you mean by that?
Who do you just want moving forward more? Like who if one had to go for whatever reason, which one?
Well, obviously JC is young. Right? He's a young guy. He's developing talent. He's made mistakes. As much as I liked him, I haven't always been too stoked on him. Like you've seen him make mistakes. He's not fundamentally there. Obviously, Gilmore is, right?
Mm-hmm.
The real question with Gilmore is how long can, number one, he be in that state, and how long does he want to be around the system, right?
Yeah.
If he can stay in that state, then obviously you keep Gilmore, right?
Mm-hmm.
You maybe trade JC off, you get something back from him. I don't know what you could, his calling is, but you could get something back from him. But in terms of, like potential JC's there, right? So it's like, do you pull the trigger and you keep Gilmore around for a couple more seasons and hope that he stays healthy, he stays in good condition, he continues to be the player he once was, or do you bid that JC Jackson's gonna break out and become and replace Gilmore?
Yeah,
right. You got it, within a system that is a lot weaker than when Gilmore, had his defensive player of the year.
Yeah.
Personally, I think I would go with the seasoned vet. Right. That's my opinion. I mean, even though he might have his issues and he might not be, that defensive player of the year, he's still a seasoned vet. He's still got it in him to make those plays.
I get that from your standpoint, where it's like, I think because it's a very similar situation, but it's just with opposite players. Because I think X is a similar sort of player to JC Jackson. Then you have Byron Jones and Gilmore, where they're kind of similar players. If I had to make a decision,
you can't lose your talent within one season. Let's just put that. You can't lose talent within one season.
Well, yeah, but I think
that
JC Jackson, low key, is gonna be more valuable to you lot moving forward, because I feel he can progress. He has the ability to create turnovers, and now he can grow himself as a cover corner, just as X did.
But can he?
But
that's the question. How much you want to bid on him being the guy? Who, if he then takes over Gilmore's spot, for example, what's not to say that he then comes calling for bigger money and we can't pay him that money? You know what I'm saying?
That's always a problem, bro.
And with Gilmore gone, he's gonna have to be playing up against good wide receivers now. He will be up there playing wide receiver one. Like he will be. Up. So can he guard those guys?
I think realistically, bro, both situations, I think we should resign X. You lot should resign Gilmore, and I think that's the best thing for him, man.
It's just the money's there.
The money, bro. I think with the money, bro, like X, bro, I think it probably should be the highest paid receiver on the team, bro. You can just give him a little bit more, as was mentioned earlier. They're not just dismissing it; they're clearly talking about it. So hopefully they can come to some agreement. I want to see him on the team. I think he makes his defense a lot better.
Hopefully, there's no more holdouts.
No more holdouts, man. Yeah, just we can just get back to that shit, man. Let's have our team ready, no problems, man. Ready for this season to start, man.
But the one big thing about teams going into the season is you want to be secure with what you're coming in with, right?
Exactly.
So the quicker they can get it done.
You don't want no drama to leak into the teams like morale and shit like that. Yeah.
I think as long as the calling isn't too much on Gilmore, and I don't know, yours could be completely different, but as long as you're not calling too much and a ridiculous amount of money, because obviously, like it's proved that a drop off could be coming. As long as you're not asking for way too much more, then I haven't got an issue with it.
Yeah,
and I probably same with you, but I think how old is Xavier Howard now?
X is like 27, 28.
Right, so he's still got a couple more.
He's still got a couple more years of production. I feel like I'm one of them people. I feel like if he wants a certain amount, pay him, because to me, I'm like, obviously you need to be mindful of cap, but like to me, it's like we almost have. I feel we almost have our team. Obviously, I need to see them play, but as I said, they gotta play good this season. And as I said, I think they need a linebacker or running back. We're set. That's what I think we need.
Well, the defense worked last year, so why not try to bring back everything?
Exactly. Yeah. So
secure the position.
So yeah, I just think I think we overpaid a couple of guys last off season, just as I think you probably will this season. You're gonna kind of retool probably at the end of the season, depending on what happens. But similar situation, man. But to me, I say pay him the money, because I think we've almost got that championship team. So I should just go all in. Try keep the same core, man. And
see how it is.
Huh?
See how it is.
Yeah, see how it is, man. That's what you can do, bro. Yeah.
Next season with power, but that's probably the end of our conversation.
Man,
Gilmore, stay, please. I'm begging you. Xavier Howard,
stay, man.
Do what you want. I don't care. That's not my business or what he does.
Exactly.
But going to the end of that is the end of the podcast. Obviously, if you like what we do, make sure you subscribe, stay around. You can follow us on Instagram, everything you want. If you just go look in the bio, we'll leave our website link there so you can stay around, Same if you're listening on podcast format as well. You have the website bio in the website link in the bio below, and we'll catch you next time for more Sports Talk every single Thursday, 8 p.m. if you're in the UK, 3 p.m. Eastern if you're in the US. If you're anywhere else, work it out. That's the end of today's podcast, and hopefully we'll see you next time with another episode, another live, and hopefully we get another guest on.
Maybe we'll have to, but
maybe
you'll stop badging us, man.
Maybe we've got Leroy on the case. Keep you updated. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.